About 12 years ago, I used to live just down the street in this neighborhood, and I used to take my dog for walks almost every single day along these tracks, and then we'd go down the hill along the bike path before we finally made our way back home. Now I thought that this would be a wonderful time to share an interesting video that was filmed about a year ago. It is about the students on the Peace Bus, so it's a bit of a Peace Bus video. But before we get into that, I wanted to talk a little bit about peace. Now, a while ago, many years ago in fact, I came up with a definition for the word peace. Peace is a word which is used to symbolize a thought of understanding, which is useless without action. Whoa! Now, over the years I've had some people ask me about that definition of peace, and where I mention that it's useless without action. Now, the idea that I had when I was talking about action is that when we do something, we're actually manifesting our thoughts. We're taking our thoughts, putting them on the end of our fingertips, and we're doing something that's going to affect positively the rest of the world. Now, over the years, I've had reason to believe that there is a broader definition of the word peace. Peace, something that actually can benefit the world even if we just say it, even if we just think it, and transmit those thoughts out into the world, out into the atmosphere, out into the universe. Yes, that's right. We're talking about thought projections and how thoughts from one person can go out into the world, into the universe, and somehow, I'm not sure how, be picked up and used by other people to create new forms of action. And that is what brings us to this park today. 12 years ago, as I walked my dog through this area known as Watson Park, I used to think, wouldn't it be great if a few local environmental groups got together to plant trees along the edges of all of these large green spaces? And I kept thinking, if we planted more trees in this area, then there would be less lawn for the city workers to have to mow, and if they're mowing less and less land, then they're using less and less fossil fuels in their vehicles. Again, another benefit. And I thought it was interesting that a few years ago, for the very first time, I heard about an Earth Day event happening down here in Watson Park, doing that exact same thing, taking my thoughts and turning them into action. This was the first time that I became aware of the possibility that thought projections could indeed be a real phenomenon. And now it's an annual event here put on by a local conservation group where we have hundreds and hundreds of people are going to be spending today doing just what I was hoping people would one day do. Plant trees and make this a better place for future generations. Now, I want to share one other little example with you, and that's another example of some thoughts that I had just a few years ago. I was involved with the local television station, Rogers, here in London. And when I was getting involved with them, I found out about an opportunity to create a TV series. They were asking volunteers, of which I was one, to come up with ideas for television programs.
And so,
for months and months and months, that's all I could do was think about what I would do if I was to create a TV show. And of course, all of you guys that know me know that I would do a TV show about positive things that people are doing in our community to make this world a better place. Again, I wasn't able to do that myself. But somehow those thoughts went out, and someone was able to share in those thoughts and be inspired to take those thoughts and create them into action by creating a TV show about people and the environment. Now, I wasn't able to create that TV series myself, but I was able to be a part of it.
Hey, Daddy's gonna be on TV.
Hi, I'm Mary Ann McDonald. Welcome to EcoBox TV, the show about environmental initiatives in the Forest City and about how we all can reduce our impact by living more lightly on the earth. Coming up on this week's show, we connect with nature by walking a labyrinth, celebrate the joy of cycling at a local art show, and listen to the strains of environmental protests in song and poetry. But first we board a peace bus to learn how children are inspired by their driver to take care of their future by taking care of the earth.
Well, the Peace Bus is basically like a ride for everybody. Like everybody really has fun on it. Mr. Jim sings songs with everybody.
All right, are you guys ready to go?
Did the children just start doing this on their own, or how did this come about?
Well, it was interesting. When I first started, I just drove the bus and chatted with the kids, sang a few songs. They taught me a few songs. And then I saw another bus, and it was decorated with butterflies. And I said to myself, hey, we can decorate buses. And I started just by bringing a couple of very simple drawings of my own. I put them on a few of the windows, and I thought, that was nice. The children should enjoy that. Well, the next day, hey, Mr. Jim, I have a drawing for you. And the next day, hey, Mr. Jim, I have another drawing for you. And it just kind of snowballed like that. I just sort of start things off a little bit, put up a couple decorations, and the kids just take it from there.
Basically, the artwork that everybody does is about peace, right? And just about the environment.
Peace signs, pictures of the environment, and the word peace. Every morning we get like a greeting, he says in different languages like bonjour and stuff, and we sing a lot.
When they're getting on the bus, sometimes I'll put on my Spanish accent. Hola, mi amigo, buenos dias. And the next day I'll talk French, and I'll just welcome them onto the bus. Occasionally we'll have spontaneous songs break out. Sometimes I'm singing them, and sometimes I'm just enjoying the students singing them themselves. So we try to have as much fun as we can, but essentially, it's our job is transporting the children, and the conversations and the artwork and the songs just add to the whole experience.
Well, it's a fun bus to ride every night when I go home in the morning, and I enjoy it because you get to draw artworks and you can express your feelings through the artwork.
It's been a very positive impact. The message of peace, a message that we spread in our school here at St. Marguerite de Ville. The tone of the bus is wonderful, where the students get onto the bus and view their artwork. So the bus is an extension of the school.
It's wonderful for me when I'm having conversations with the children for them to say, hey, Mr. Jim, what did you do this weekend? And I would tell them, I was in my garden. I was planting some flowers, or I was planting some tomatoes or carrots. And they'll start asking me why I'm doing this. And then I'll say, well, I think it's important for us to be self-sufficient, for us to grow our own food. And that way we don't have to worry about food being shipped in from other parts of the world. So the students ask me a simple question, and then I'll sort of take them on a little journey as we answer it. And after a little while, the students on their own accord came up with the Peace Bus motto. The Peace Bus motto is, according to some grade 3 students, a very wonderful motto, is we will stop pollution when we find a great solution. And I took that motto and I incorporated that into one of the songs that we sing.
Well, we have 3 bus rules. Every day he makes sure we review them. Number 1 is learn something, number 2 is have fun, and the last one is be peaceful.
A lot of people just find it frustrating to say, we shouldn't drive cars, we shouldn't eat at fast food restaurants, we shouldn't. instead of talking about things that we shouldn't do, how about we focus on things that we should do, that we can do? The first step to finding solutions to problems is understanding them, and by expressing thoughts in a poetic form, written form, some of the songs we sing, and of course the artistic form, the drawings. It takes thoughts like pollution. Pollution is such a broad concept, but it gives the students an opportunity to think about it, turn it into something tangible, something that they can understand as they're creating the drawing.
I think it's important because when you see all the decorations, it makes you think about peace.
Every day when we walk on the bus and we see the pictures, we constantly are being reminded that our earth is in our hands and that we need to take care of it.
I think that's important because in our future it's going to affect us, and us being the next generation of people, it's really going to need us to bring it on and help us with the world and make it better.
Peace itself is such a large concept, but when we create drawings of peace symbols, of people being nice, of people holding hands and working together with an earth in the background, when students create those drawings, is taking the idea of peace and making it into something that they can understand, something that they can revolve actions around to make the world a better place for future generations.